Hey everybody, welcome back to The Pressing Matters. I'm Scott. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for your support. Today I want to talk briefly about a new release in the Definitive Sound series, one that took me completely by surprise. It's called Beck's Morning Phase, originally released in 2014. This record completely passed me by on its initial release. As a matter of fact, I'm a little embarrassed to say, Beck's music passed me by. During those years leading up to this record, I was distracted with other things. Contemporary music was not anything that was on my radar. If I was doing anything with music, it was building out my classical collection. And that's kind of what my focus was at that time. So a record like this came and went, and I knew nothing about it. As a matter of fact, I hadn't heard a shred of Beck's music until the needle hit the groove on this record. I'm going to give you a first impression of this, and it's a rave. When the needle hit the groove of this record and the room transformed, and I'm talking about the immersion in the room transformed when this record started, my jaw was on the floor. Not only that, I just couldn't believe I had missed this. I had no idea what to expect from this, and I was so delighted with the opening measures of this record and the first major track, which is called Morning. I'll try to describe my reaction to you and a general idea about how I feel about the record. It's definitely of a piece. So the record has a consistency across the whole thing that make it a masterpiece of mood. The mood is melancholy. So the lyrics are melancholy. The delivery is a little melancholy. The music is too. It's down-tempo music, so it's very soft and gentle, moves through a few moods here and there. Everything is different across the whole record, but it has a feeling like it was conceived as a piece, and I love that about the record. There's nothing that stands out, that jars you. It's all beautiful. None more beautiful than the track Morning. When I heard Morning, I sank back into my chair and I was like, looking around at this wall of gorgeous strings moving past me in like this way, like this, just trailing off, vocals trailing off into this long reverb. It was all gentle and caressing with beautiful color, texture, and detail. I couldn't really pinpoint what was happening, which instruments were creating what sound. At first I thought it might be synthesizers, but no, it's a string section. It's violins, cellos, and of course there's acoustic guitar. It's an acoustic album. There's acoustic guitar, there's acoustic bass, there's electric bass, there's piano, there's other orchestral instruments giving a little bit of color here and there, a little note on the celeste or on the harp, a little piece on the harp. It all goes to accent this hypnotic, almost psychedelic mood. To me, it feels like a folk kind of psychedelic sound. And I was hypnotized with the opening track, and each track that followed offered new delights. I'm not going to go through every track. I will say that the second one, or the third track, Heart is a Drum, I think it was a single. That one features the acoustic guitar, and you really hear how resonant it is. Combined with the bass, it reaches down really low. And this record has a bass weight that is very impressive. It really is such a delight to hear that kind of bass on this, and it's clean. It's absolutely clean. Don't believe what you read on Discogs that this record was ruined by too much bass. That's the furthest thing from the truth. It actually is perfectly weighted with bass. And it's a nice feature of the album as well. The Definitive Sound Series release looks the part as well. It's one of my favorites visually. It has a cream colored border with the, the logo that kind of is highlighted, the DSS logo. It looks good. It kind of recedes in the background, so you really just see the image. The image shows Beck. He does look a little dazed or something here. A little, kind of a little out of it, a little sad. And then you have all this hazy layering of color around him, which suggests the psychedelic nature or the hallucinogenic nature of the music. It is kind of trippy in a way. That was my impression of it. Inside, we get the jacket. Let me put this here. The jacket looks great. You see the image in much more detail, of course. And inside, there's a great photo of him and all the lyrics, which are wonderful, by the way. And the production is just amazing. This was one of the biggest surprises of 2025. If you're going to hear this record on vinyl, you have a couple of choices. You have the original vinyl issues from the United States and the European Union. It was done once, to my knowledge, and never again. Everything else was CDs or downloads. So they're fairly uncommon. And if you want to hear this record at its best, I think this is the ticket. The reason I say that is because this record has many quiet passages. You don't want to hear surface noise on this record, on this recording, and you don't on the vinyl on this record. This is pressed on the VR900 D2 vinyl, and once cleaned, and you should clean every record that comes into your house, once cleaned, it sounds silent. And I don't think we can say that probably about the original pressings, at least at this point. This is the perfect way to hear this record. Levi Seitz did the mastering along with Tom Grover Beery. It's from a digital file, but don't let that dissuade you. This was originally a digital recording, and it offers so much in terms of sonic beauty that it easily becomes one of my top recommendations of this year. As a matter of fact, it'll be in the top 10 for sure. I was so taken with this record. I've been playing it over and over for days now, and I still am finding new things to discover about it. It's really, really something. It's no wonder it won the Grammy Award that year, snatching it from some heavy hitters, including Beyonce. But I can see why. I can see why. A record like this doesn't come around that often. And I've never heard anything like it, to be honest with you. It's an absolute delight. Let me know what you think about this record in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, especially if you're familiar with Beck's work. There are 3,000 copies of this. I expect once word gets out about it, these are going to go very fast. This is the kind of thing, the kind of title that has been missed by the other audiophile companies. And here we have the Definitive Sound series pulling out gems from the later period, from the 90s, from the 2000s. These are records that the newer generation wants. And I'm so delighted that I got a copy of this. This is going to hold a very special place in my collection. Let me know what you think about it. Until next time, I'm Scott for The Pressing Matters. Have a great day.